Hello and welcome to another episode of Froch on Fighting with me, Carl the Cobra Froch. Who else is it going to be with? Remember, if you're enjoying these, give us a like, subscribe, and I'll keep them coming every week as promised. So I'm going to start with the biggest fight of the week, Tyson Fury against Oleksandr Usyk for all the marbles, a unification, undisputed heavyweight title fight. Amazing. Right, 70-30 split. To start with, for me, that don't feel that fair, but Tyson Fury is the big name. Usyk's got 3 of the major belts, Tyson Fury being the WBC champion. But Usyk, let's not forget, he beat Anthony Joshua twice. He came over to England, he beat Tony Bellew, he beat Derek Chisora, and then he outclassed Anthony Joshua. Sorry, Anthony, but it was a great performance from Usyk, and he took the belts. What a champion he is. So this split, 70-30, whether it's fair or not, just to give you an idea of how the splits work, if you're champion and you've got a non-mandatory challenger or even a mandatory challenger, depending on the sanctioning body, will depend on the split. So if you're champion with the WBC, I think it was 75-25, 75% going to the champion. Bit different with the IBF, I think they do an 85-15 split if it's a non-mandatory challenger. So if it's a voluntary defence, so my rematch with Groves was actually, I think it was an 80-20 or an 85-15. At the rematch at Wembley. That's just how it is. Listen, I'm the champ, I don't make the rules, but I was happy about that split. Anthony Joshua, all of his fights when he was champion, he'd have took the bigger chunk. Tyson Fury, because of his name, because of who he is, and because of the crowds and the TV demands that he brings in, and obviously he wants the bigger split. When I boxed Mikhail Kessler, Eddie Hearn said to me, listen, this is back on Sky pay-per-view now. After my fight with Lucian Butte, Sky was back on board with pay-per-view. I actually bought pay-per-view back to Sky Sports. Just saying, that was the first fight back after a few years. I think it was David Hay, Audley Harrison. I think it was that fight that finished the pay-per-view run on Sky. I brought it back with the Kessler fight. Eddie Hearn said to me, we're going to fight Kessler. Let's start with 70-30. We'll offer him that. Maybe come back to 60-40. We've got the big platform, Sky pay-per-view. He's got the Danish or the German TV channel, the network. It's not going to be that much revenue from his end. And I was like, listen, Eddie, straight away, I've got too much respect for Mikhail Kessler. I'll become friendly with him in the Super 6. Let's do a 50-50 split. Straight down the middle. That's the only way the fight's going to happen without any controversy, without any politics getting involved. So I said to Eddie, let's do a 50-50 split. He said, you're mad. I said, well, I think that's fair. See, Eddie phoned up Kessler's team, it was the Salmons at the time, and said to him, listen, we won the fight. It was WBA, I was IBF champ, I just beat Butte, he was WBA champ. That fight was made in one conversation. We agreed everything. 50-50 split, down the middle. The fight was made. We boxed at the O2, what a night. First fight back on Sky pay-per-view. The rest is history. Let's not forget the fight's not been officially announced. I'm speaking as if it has been made, but it's not official yet. I do think it will happen, but my main concern is the 6-week time constraint. It's not long for a world title fight to happen, but if it doesn't happen now, it's on Tyson Fury, and I think it looks terrible for him. So just remembering Tyson Fury on the build-up to the AJ fight, he was saying that he'll fight AJ for free and give the money to charity. And now all of a sudden the Usyk fight's happening and he's demanding 70-30, a real lion's share of the purse. So sometimes I think to myself, he can be a walking contradiction at times. And it's a bit of a nightmare really, because you don't know whether you're coming or going. So who do I think is going to win this fight and how? Personally, I feel that Tyson Fury is too big for Usyk. He's just a giant of a man. What is he, 6'9", getting on for, 18, 19 stone? Usyk's a career cruiserweight. Okay, stepped up to heavyweight, beat Chisora. I've got a theory actually about the Chisora fight. When he fought Chisora at heavyweight, I was there that night ringside watching and learning the guy and thinking, is he good enough? Is he big enough? Is he strong enough? Okay, he's not got that punch power, but he's got an unbelievable skill set. He's so technically proficient. It's amazing. And I think that night against Chisora, he just took his time. He was playing mind games with the opponents. He knew Anthony Joshua was watching that. And he was thinking to himself, if I show all my toolbox and his first heavyweight fight, I'm going to scare him off. So I think he never got out of second gear with Chisora. I'm not taking anything away from Chisora. He'll go in there with anyone. He's lost more than he's won at world title level, but he gives him a hard fight. And he certainly gave Usyk a hard fight. But I think Usyk took his time, just used his jab, moved around, didn't really get out of second gear, certainly didn't get anything past third gear. And he got the comfortable win on points. And I think AJ would have looked at that and thought to himself, I can beat this guy. He's struggling up heavyweight. And then obviously he took the fight, AJ did, and Usyk outclassed him and became unified champion. I mean, it was just an amazing performance, and one that not many people thought he could win with so much ease. I think AJ should have tackled it different, should have done different tactics, but Usyk was pure class because he's a quality operator. So I don't think we've seen the best of him at heavyweight. Against Tyson Fury is huge. He's massive. I've already said how big he is. We know how big he is. We know how strong he is. We know how skillful he is. But can Usyk up the level? Have we seen the best of him at heavyweight? I think if Usyk can just manoeuvre Tyson Fury around the ring, keep him on his back foot. We know Tyson can go 12 rounds on his feet, nice and light. But he's getting bigger, he's getting heavier. These gaps between fights. I know his last fight was Chisora, but that was a glorified sparring session. With the best of respects to Chisora, it was too easy for Fury. Before that, it was Dillian White, and nothing was really happening until that uppercut landed. Then the fight was over. So I think Usyk's confident. He'll be coming in here really, really confident he can do the business with Fury. Fury, for me, 6 weeks as well. That might not be long enough. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But this fight, I think, is going to be closer than what most of the boxing experts think. And Tyson Fury's kind of put himself in a position where he's got to perform and make it look easy. All the pressure's on him because everyone's coming up to watch Tyson Fury. But the problem with Fury now, I think, is maybe put some pressure on himself in terms of he's turned the fans against him. All the shenanigans and all his mouth on the build-up, you know, slagging off Usyk. I think it was unsavoury. Well, why are you talking about a man's gappy teeth and he's ugly and I'm going to smash you to bits? All right, fair enough, but you don't need to make personal insults and jabs at him. It's a bit below the belt, and I just don't think that's nice. I don't like to see that. And I'd be interested to see on the night who's getting cheered and who's getting booed. We know the fans can be fickle. I know that myself. I got cheered into the first Groves fight. I got cheered in and booed out. I got spat out a few coins chucked to my head. A good friend of mine, Michael Smith, aka Bruno, caught a couple of them coins apparently, like Bruce Lee or Steven Seagal catching coins out of the air. I don't know if that's a true story actually, or it's just a bit Hollywood. But the fans can be very mean. And Tyson Fury has got a bit carried away with his mouth. But it looks like the fight's happening and I'm excited for it. Who's going to win? Probably Tyson Fury, but this could go either way. Tony Bailey said Usyk would win. He would say that, he got knocked out. No, I'm only joking. Listen, Tony Bellew knows his stuff, and he was actually outboxing Usyk for 3, 4, 5 rounds. I thought he looked great, but then he obviously got tired and Usyk caught up with him and then banjoed him. So, a quick fan question. Mark Davis is asked, who is the greatest fighter of all time and why? Sugar Ray Robinson. What a fighter. And when you look back, when you go back to the old school 15 rounders, small gloves, the referee lets them carry on even if somebody's being held up by the bottom rope. You can still get your head smashed in and the referee just leave it until you're on the floor. It's like the referees are just ruthless, but that's how it used to be. So it's hard to compare a fighter from that era to the current greats. And the current greats who I think are probably the best. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is one of the best, if not the best of all time, unbeaten in 50 fights. But Roy Jones Jr., the way he used to fight, the speed, the accuracy, the fact that I think he's the only fighter to ever not get hit for a round, not get hit with a punch for a whole round. He's just unbelievably skillful and talented, and the biggest attribute he had was the speed. So when he had that speed early on in his career, I think he was untouchable. He was such a dangerous super middleweight, dangerous light heavyweight, just phenomenal. So for me, it's probably going to be Roy Jones Jr. over Floyd Mayweather. And if you go back to the early years of the Sugar Ray Robinson, people like him, really, really close second, or maybe edge in front. I can't really pick a greatest fighter. And it's difficult for me to also pick Roy Jones Jr. to be the greatest of all time because Joe Calzaghe beat him. Come on. I can't give him that, can I? Let's be honest. But no, Calzaghe got him when it was past his best. Yeah, let's go with Roy Jones Jr. My favourite fighter of all time, I've got to say that the guy that's given me the most entertainment, the guy that inspired me to get back into boxing when I came out of boxing. I boxed from the age of 8 up to the age of 15, competitively from the age of 10. Schoolboy titles, national titles, going in. I never won a national title as a schoolboy actually. And I stopped boxing at 15 because my mum got a pub in Newark. I moved to Newark, fell out of love with the sport, fell in love with playing poker and pool and darts and pulling pints at 15. Yeah, I was never really into women at that time. I was quite a late developer, so my wife's making lewd gestures in the background, so I don't know why she's doing that. But I got back into boxing when I was 19 years old for one reason, and one reason only, because I used to love watching Prince Naseem Hamed. I'm a massive fan, I've read his books, I know his full name. What a fighter, what an entertainer. So my favourite fighter has to be Nas. What a legend. So I think that's about it for the third episode of Froch on Fighting. Don't forget to subscribe, that helps us out massively, then we can keep these episodes coming. Keep your comments coming in, because we do read them and we take them on board. I'm loving some of the comments. There's a lot more positive than negative. I love some of the negative ones as well. I might go through them one day and answer a few. Give some of these trolls a little bit of, give them their little bit of glory and answer back. So when there's not much happening, I might go through them. And until next week.